Welcome back, beautiful people. Listen, here we have another American saying he is done with America. Let's see what he has to say.
Today, I'm going to give you the reasons why I chose to leave America, and I don't plan on returning anytime soon. Right now, we are in Thailand, Pattaya to be Pacific. And I was just sitting here thinking, like a year ago, I was in Thailand, and I went back to America. And now I'm back in Thailand because the quality of life in America is absolutely abysmal now.
And that's something you realize when you leave this country is you realize that when you're in these different countries, your quality of life goes up while the cost of living goes down. It seems like here the cost of living is going up, but the quality of life is going down. Can you relate to that? No, I can.
You cannot live in America. Inflation is way too high. From the state I'm from, New Jersey, rent runs you, especially northern New Jersey, rent is going to be plus $2,000. Now let's think about that.
Right. $2,000 for rent alone. That doesn't cover your car. That doesn't cover insurance. That doesn't cover your phone bill. That doesn't cover your streaming platforms. That doesn't cover your food. That doesn't cover, it doesn't cover everything. But that $2,000 is able to get you a space, and probably not even a big space.
For a second. The medium income in America is about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. Now, how can people afford to spend half of their annual income? We're not even including taxes yet. They're spending half of their annual income in rent. And then we're not even factoring in food, electricity. In America, you have to have a car, especially like in New Jersey. You're gonna need a car to get around. So you got a car note, add an extra $600 to $1,000. Now look, you have $3,000 gone already of your income.
And when you really sit down and manage your money, you sit down and you do the math, you realize this isn't adding up. Don't have a child. Don't have somebody you love and respect and you want them to stay home. In America, to survive, not to maintain and thrive, to survive for the average person, two people have to go to work.
There's no way you can survive. But if you come to a place like Pattaya, Thailand, you can get you a nice apartment for $200 to $400 a month. And you could be right here on the beach. Like right now, I'm on Pattaya Beach. You can have a waterfront property for from $200 to $400 a month. That's not possible in America, Canada, UK. It's not happening.
Australia, it's not possible at all. And listen, if you don't believe him, I did a video a while back where I went on Airbnb properties and I was showing you that you can live in these countries for less than $600 a month. Now understand what I mean. Less than $600 a month on Airbnb, which means the person who is renting out that place is making a profit off of you spending $600 a month or less. So imagine if you actually went to this country and you had your paperwork in order, you were able to rent apartments, it's going to cost you half of that price.
Also, it's just the people out here are happier. What I realized when I went back from traveling the world, because I've been to Tanzania, I lived in Thailand, where we are right now. People are more happier outside of America. And I was thinking about this and then I realized why. America is just one big business. If you really break it down, America is a business. And your status symbol is your income. That's why when you meet people, or people are always saying, oh, I make six figures, I make high six figures. But you never hear people saying stuff like, I'm really enjoying my life right now. I'm really happy.
100%. And you've probably watched one of my videos that's labeled "The Average Man Gets No Respect." See, we don't respect people who are low on the socioeconomic totem pole, even though their job is a key function to keep society running. We don't care about that because when you get past the marketing and the fluff, that is America. This is built on business. Heck, even the idea of America was people are coming over here to get rich. And listen, I will say this. Nobody's blaming America. It is what it is. If you're if you're money motivated, money focused, this is the amazing place for you. But what you realize is this was built on business. However, when you go to these different places, you realize they have a key in community. They have a key in family. And if you value those things more, it's better to do these things outside the country because, again, here, they're not focused on community. They're not focused on family. They're focused on how can I get rich? How can I make as much money as possible?
You can make a bunch of money in America. That is true. But at what sacrifice does it come making that money? I know a lot of people who make 6 figures plus and they absolutely hate their life. And I met many people around the world from Africa, Asia, who live off of about $2, $3 a day, and they're absolutely content with their life. Of course, they will want a little bit more. Who doesn't want more? But these people are happy. They're not.
And that's one of the excuses I see. People say, oh, they're living on $2, $4, $6 a day. They want more. Let me tell you a secret about more that I'm sure you figured out. Once you get more, do you think it stops? It doesn't stop. They want more and you want more and you want more and you want more. That's why we have billionaires who are still playing the game of business trying to make another billion. And you're like, you're done. If I had that much money, I'd be done. But of course, no, because what they don't tell you is no matter how much materialism that you get, no matter how much money that you get, you're always going to keep wanting more. And it's not until you realize that, wait a minute, sometimes it's too late. When you have all this materialistic things, you're going to say, I don't care about the materials. I don't care about the cars. I don't care about the houses. You know what I really care about? I care about my community. I care about my family. And when you spent the majority of your life trying to accumulate things that don't matter, you realize how much time you've wasted with the very thing that you ultimately wanted in the first place, which is the fulfillment from your community and your family.
Not like, oh, I need this new Porsche. I need this. I need to get this promotion so I can make 250 instead of 200,000. Like, I feel like back in America, we sacrifice our life for a carrot at the end of the road, which is retirement. And once you're like 65, what are you really gonna be able to do? You can't move around like you used to. You're gonna be tired, and half the people are not even gonna make it to 65 with the stress levels and the toxic diet that exists in America. Now, America will always be my home.
And I want to add to that. Notice how that is the thing that we're ultimately chasing is retirement, which I believe the age of it is 65 or 66. See, when somebody told me middle-aged, what I used to think about was, oh, around 50 or so. And it wasn't until I realized that the average life expectancy, at least in America, is anywhere from 74 to 76. And which made me realize, like, wait a minute. Middle age isn't 50. Middle age would be around 38. And when I realized that, I'm like, wait, I have roughly 10 years before I'm middle aged. And you expect me to work till I'm 64, 65, 66. That way, when I can retire, all of a sudden, I can start doing the things that I've always wanted to do with the amount of money that is now supposedly enough. And I've met plenty of people who have saved for retirement and it's still not enough. And on top of that, you realize that, wait a minute, I've wasted my entire life trying to chase something that was a scam. Now I have 10, 11 years to spend my time and money with the very people that I wanted to spend my whole time and money with in the first place. Come on now, we got to start thinking.
And I'm happy I'm American. But I cannot recommend people living there long term. And it doesn't take that much to get outside of America. Like I said, $2,000 a month can get you a good standard of living in a bunch of countries. You can live here in Thailand for $2,000 a month. You can live in Kenya for $2,000 a month. You can live in so many countries off of $2,000 a month.
And a lot of people don't believe that simply because what they're thinking is I could take my American standard of living, go to these different countries and live off of $2,000 a month. And that's not necessarily true, because again, you have to think about it. There are a lot of modern day luxuries, granite countertops, marble floors, that I would happily give up if it meant my quality of life is increased or has gotten a lot higher. And that's what you realize. You realize when you go to these different countries that you may not have the most extravagant, luxurious apartment, but the apartment that you do have is great. Enough for whatever it is that you actually want. As long as you can put food on the table, as long as you have a refrigerator, you have heating, you have cooling, you have a bathroom, a shower, all these things that you need, you realize that you don't have to have gold tipped everything in order for you to survive. And you realize that in these different countries. That's another thing. See, when you first go out to these different countries, you're looking for that, okay, what's the American standard? And you start spending a lot more than the average local does. But like I said, the more that you start to focus on community, the more that you start to focus on families, you meet these locals, you meet these families, you meet the community. And they say, where are you shopping at? And you're like, oh, I'm shopping at this big box store. They're like, no, 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 no. That's triple the price. Shop where me and my family shop, where the local shop, and you're going to be paying a fourth of the price. And that's exactly how you get intertwined with the community, and you start saving a ton more money on top of the low cost of living that you're going to have over the sea.
Which would be impossible to live off of in America. And that's another thing I want to tell people about is people think that you need to have all this money to live outside of America. Like, that is not true. There's plenty of people who are teaching English online, they're YouTubers, they're doing all different
digital marketing
type of things to make a living. So it's not back in the day where you had to have like a 9-to-5 to sustain yourself. Now there's so many avenues to make money. It just makes sense to leave America. And I'm not just talking about America too. You can include the UK, Canada, all the Western countries.
Australia.
Countries are really pricing themselves out of the market for normal people. Only the upper echelon are really enjoying the barons and the spoils of lives.
And most of the time, when you get any type of pushback on this type of lifestyle, it's usually between a person who is just afraid themselves to leave, or it's somebody of the person he's talking about who's in the upper echelon, who's enjoying the spoils of all these people who are working 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. It's never the person who is the average individual who is saying that, oh, everything is great, everything is fine. No, it's always the people who get to benefit off of average people who are saying everything is great, everything is fine. And again, whenever I start talking like that, people start to say, oh, well, just don't be average. That's not feasible advice for the average individual.
Back in the West. But yeah, this is your boy Kid Greatness. And if you like this.
All right, he made this video 7 months ago, so I want to check on his channel to see if he's still traveling or did he go back to the United States. And it looks like 1 day ago, it looks like he's in Bulgaria. So he is still traveling. Listen, I'm telling you, if you haven't booked your first trip out the country, I highly suggest that you do that. Plan it for something small, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. Start to get those affairs in order. Start asking yourself, how can I make a full-time income online? That way, whenever it's time for you to experience exactly what it is that we're talking about, you are ready. Listen, if you need help with that, you want to learn the fundamentals of digital marketing to make a full-time income online, check the description box below. Like the video if you like the video. If you want me to make more content like this, type down more content like this. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace out.